Hello everyone and welcome. This is Dawn. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm making another card in my birthday card series. I'm trying to build my stash of birthday cards. I don't know about anybody else, but for some reason I never have birthday cards when I need them. So anyway, I'm going to be using the Whimsy Stamps Elegant Butterfly Red Rubber Stamp, and you can buy the matching die to go with it. It die cuts the butterfly perfectly and it leaves like a little border, which I like. It doesn't cut it too close to the actual stamp part of the butterfly, which is really nice. Okay, so let's get started. I'm using my Misty stamping tool to stamp the butterfly. Make sure to take the foam insert out of the Misty because the stamp is so thick, and this is going to help you get a much better impression. Now I'm going to heat emboss my image, so I rub my paper with my embossing powder bag. Then I'm going to stamp my image with black VersaFine ink. I'm using this ink because it stays wet longer, and then I'm going to put clear embossing powder over it, but you could use Versamark ink with black embossing powder instead if that's what you have. I just find that the black embossing powder can be tricky to work with sometimes, and this to me is much easier. I pour clear embossing powder on it. I do pour kind of a lot on it since the image is so big and I want to make sure that I get good coverage. And when my heat tool is good and hot, I'm going to heat emboss the image. Since the image is so large, make sure to keep the heat tool moving around so you don't scorch the paper. And believe me, I've done that before. Next, I'm going to do some super quick ink blending with my Distress Oxide inks. I find I like these inks best when I'm ink blending because they're just very forgiving. The first thing I do is put some Villainous Potion around the outer edge. I'm putting it on the outer edge because I want the tips of the wings to be the darkest part of my butterfly, and I put a little bit in the middle as well. Next, I use some Distress Oxide Shaded Lilac, and I put it next to the Villainous Potion, blending as I go. Now, there's no set way to do this. Just keep adding as much or as little ink as you like until you get the desired look that you want. Then I bring in some Distress Oxide Victorian Velvet so that I can have a little bit of pink on the body and so the butterfly doesn't look like all purple. And again, just keep blending and adding the colors until you have the look that you want. Once I'm done with my ink blending, I take a cloth and I wipe all the ink off of the embossed image. Because I did embossing on the image, the ink just sits on top of the embossing. When I wipe it clean, it actually changes the look of the image and it makes it look much cleaner. Now, here's a little trick that I do. I take my heat tool and I'm going to heat up the embossing again. I don't add any more embossing powder, but by doing this, it makes the embossing shiny again. I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but I'm trying to move it around so you can see it. The right side is shiny and the left side is still dull. Now, watch again because I'm going to do it again. I'll heat the other side up and then look at it now. It was dull before and now it's shiny again, just like the right side. Pretty cool, right? Now I'm going to use the matching die and I'm going to cut the image out. And then I'm going to use the Sprinkle Scallops rectangle die set. I'm going to use the largest die and I'm going to die cut it from some white cardstock. Next, I'm going to use the Autumn Layered Leaves stamp set, and I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment, Happy Birthday, in the top right-hand corner of the rectangle I just die cut. I rubbed my paper with the embossing powder bag. I stamped the image with black Versamark ink. I pour clear embossing powder on it, and when my heat tool is good and hot, I'm just going to quickly heat emboss the sentiment. I wanted to do something different for my background. I wanted to add some excitement to it because I thought the plain white was just a little too plain. So I had some very thin white string and I just tape one end to the back of the rectangle and I just wrap it around the card, kind of crisscrossing it here and there. I'm sorry I'm out of frame here. I didn't even realize I did that. Anyway, I had some pieces that were already cut, so I had to tape it multiple times, but you can use one continuous piece of string, and when you have the amount of string you want, you just tape the other end to the back of the card. Then I want the rectangle to be raised up because the string is behind it, so I put 4 pieces of foam tape on the back of it between the string, and then I put some glue on it so I can move it around if I have to. And then I'm just going to adhere it to a piece of white cardstock I cut to 8.5 by 5.5, and then I scored it at 4.25. I put some foam tape on the back of the butterfly because I wanted the butterfly raised up a little, and then I add a little bit of liquid glue to it so that I can move it around, and this will also hold it in place a little bit better than just the foam tape. And then I just place it over the string on the front of the card. And to finish off the card, I'm using my favorite black matte confetti from This Calls for Confetti. And I'm just pouring a little bit into this little container that I have. It just makes it easier for me. And then using my jewel picker and some liquid glue, I'm just going to adhere all of the confetti to the front of the card. And that's going to complete my card for today. I think it came out really nice, and believe it or not, this card was super fast to make, and I actually think I'm going to make a bunch of them with the butterflies in different colors because I just really like it that much. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the card. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.